kind of woman he can boss around, dot, dot, dot. Okay. She had 18 missed calls from him. 18 missed calls? You're not coming at me with 18 missed calls. No way. 18 calls? I'm blocking your number. Okay. Um, she said, I know it seems toxic, but he's so into me. Well, I know. Everyone wants to feel sexy and pretty and happy and attractive and loved and adored and special and all that stuff. And sometimes that happens in a relationship, and sometimes two ships in the night can click, I guess. Um, but are we getting exactly what we want? Are we negotiating? Is it give and take? Are we settling for less because we think we can't do better? You know, it's about intentions, I think, kind of, and like motives when it comes to that sort of stuff. Someone called him Jafar the Egyptian Psycho. I just thought that sounded funny, so I left it in. Uh, and people being upset with her, unsubbing, getting out. She's having a sexual awakening. It's not a reason to unsub or to be mad at her, you know. So who's she going to see tomorrow? The Egyptian guy? Whoever? I don't know. Someone called her a homewrecker. Another phrase I love. Had to throw it in. Next, she's having dinner. Number 10. Starving, doesn't feel good. Ordered food for her and Pete's. She throws the phone on mute for a little while and points the camera away and comes back and she's sniffing. Are we laying groundwork? Y'all know what I'm going to be talking about. Are we laying the groundwork now for suspicion about Chantal using a certain substance later the whole time? Is this like, let's let people look back at old videos and think something was happening? Anyway, so let's see. She was hungry. She says the Egyptian guy is already possessive. I'm telling, nobody listens. Nobody listens. She did go over to his house. She described him as, quote, fucking crazy and tiptoed out of there while he was asleep. And then she says, don't judge me, I could be more responsible. And then here we go. So this guy is very skinny, and she's body shaming him. She's lightened up on that and basically said, look, you know, I've done it too. That's the point with body shaming and body positivity. It's something to strive to, okay? It's something to say, looks shouldn't be important and we shouldn't comment on each other's appearance in such a way that it's rude. But acknowledge that people do it, people slip, people think they can make a funny joke, and they do it time to time. That it's not ideal to treat people like that, and that we should aim to do better, but that we all screw up. And don't be high and mighty, especially if you screw up in front of 30,000 people. It's okay. Just don't be superior about it. It's fine. It's fine. His English is meh, she says. His place is clean. And she said it's been a year and a half since she's been naked with anybody, and she's nervous. And she goes over to the guy's place, and he's super into her. And, you know, he was mad, though. Why did it take her so long to get there? And she said in the bedroom, there was a small bed and a mattress on the floor. And people gave her flying shit for him having a mattress on the floor. I'm going to tell you a little secret. You guys usually, again, who I don't always see all week. Mark and I were living with my parents from 2012 to 2014. We were friends at the time. No funny business. For real, for real. And we were sleeping in the same bedroom. My sister's old bedroom in my parents' house. And I was on a futon, and he was on, guess what? A small mattress on the floor, and he slept there for 2 years. We slept side by side, but at different levels, almost like a day bed would be. So I heard this, and I thought, that's not odd. And I suppose it is, and that our situation was odd. But, you know, we didn't use the mattress for anything, you know. So while she's over there, and here's the big sort of thing, and before I jump into this, let me just hold on for 1 second. Okay, so cigarette break, sorry. So, don't judge me. Don't judge me. Okay. I could have been more responsible. Couldn't we all? So, this guy, the Egyptian guy, is very skinny, apparently. Are we body shaming? We'll leave that to whoever to decide. But he looks like his pictures. He is such a good kisser. His English is meh, and his place is clean. Pete's is there. She offered to tell this story later, I guess, because Pete's is there. She was like, maybe not. Now, it's been a year and a half since anyone has seen her naked, touched her, been, whatever. And she's kind of nervous. Nervous. You know, I'd be nervous too. He's super into her, but gets mad easily. Why did it take you so long to get here? I don't like him. I don't like him. I wouldn't like him for any woman. Sorry. Or guy, you know. Let's see. So, they smoke a little hash. Okay, the guy breaks out hash while they're there. And that's closer to maybe closer to what she does with the like in the same ballpark, maybe. And then does 5 lines of blow, 4 or 5. Okay. Now this came out of left field for me. I don't know about any of you. It wasn't something I was expecting her to say, but okay. And then drank. Okay. Now she drank, did a little bit of and smoked a little of with a guy who is pushy and gets easily angry. This is not a good idea. This is not a good idea. I'm not knocking casual encounters, but there are certain circumstances that when they all line up, it's more risky than other times, maybe. And grown people can make grown choices and do grown things with other grown consenting adults. This is fine. I'm not passing judgment on that. But safety is important too. It's very important too. And not only guarding our physical safety, but guarding our hearts too, because I don't give a shit what Chantal says. She catches feelings like that. Do we remember Nicholas? What did it be, 5 minutes? And it's been weeks getting over it. And she's just, I don't know, somewhere, but okay, you can call her, tender-hearted, obsessive, there's a lot of words people use, fatal attraction, there's a lot of ways you could frame it. She falls easily when she finds the person that she likes. She could blow off an asshole easily too, but when it's right for her, she feels like it's so right, she's like a kid in love, and that infatuation and euphoria is that feel-good feeling. We talked a little bit about Chantal chasing feel-good feelings. And again, not unique to her, but since food isn't doing it right now, there's a lot of other things that can make a person feel good that it seems like she's branching out. We have the gentleman, and we have substances, and then we have food periodically, but it's not as much lately. So, yeah, okay. Now, escalation is something that comes up, cross-addiction, when a person's using a substance. Okay. Now, one could say, that certain substances are gateways into other substances. It's been said, since the 80s in America, we had the war on drugs and all that stuff. But it's primarily been okay for white people to smoke pot. Pretty much. If you're rich and you're white, you never got pulled over for weed, or possession or anything like that. But, it's not 100% true. I'm sweeping with a broad stroke. I shouldn't. But at any rate, I don't think it's necessarily true that THC and other products like that would be the gateway drug. My personal, me, Steve opinion, and other people agree with me too in the mental health field, trauma is the gateway to substance use, abuse, and dependence. Me, Steve, personal opinion. I'm not going to go against any of the other stuff. My first drug of choice was not Mary Jane. It was ecstasy. Mary Jane came much later, much cheaper, and much less potent than I was expecting, because I was taking hardcore psychedelic drugs. So my expectations were somewhat altered with that. Yeah. The thing with I was thinking about. She said she's done it before. She had some party days, and it was like 12 years ago or whatever, and I had party days too, and it had come up during mine as well, and it didn't take root with me. Even though I had more than just an addictive personality, it was also a diagnostically deadly issue I was dealing with later in life. But that, and a lot of editing, trying to smash this together. And the party days were fun days. I enjoyed my party days. They're fun till they're not. They're fun when you're like 19 and 20, when you can go to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning and get up and go to work at 8 and just be a champ and brush your teeth and put the hair up in a ponytail and just run out the door. That stops happening in your 30s. You start to have things like a bad hip develop when you're in your 30s. Things start to change a little bit. But when being presented with drugs, motive depends too. I'm going to gloss past the fact. Well, no, I'm not. It's illegal. It's illegal. It's not. So, there's that component to it. But that's not news, okay? Presented to her, did she accept it because she wanted to do it and she liked it? Or was she afraid of his reaction if she said no? She, I hope, knows the answer to that. If she doesn't, maybe she would think about it. Who doesn't like feeling good and substances that enhance your mood will make you feel good. You know, I get it. I get it. I gave away years to it. You know, I get it. But they're so short term, the little highs that come along with it, that it's like constantly chasing another one. And she's got her fingers in a lot of pies, no pun intended, when it comes to feel good things between, you know, the guys and the substances and the food and the whatnot, and, you know, attention, maybe, you know, maybe a little bit addicted to getting some attention of some kind, male attention. The old Blanche Devereaux with her niece Lucy. If you watch The Golden Girls, you know. Now, Lucy was Blanche's niece, and she was a complete slut. Sophia told her so. And Blanche was trying to chase her down and talk some sense into her. And her niece Lucy looked at Blanche and said, "I'm surprised to hear all this talk coming from you. From what I understand, you're not a saint." And Blanche said, "Yes, I've enjoyed the company of gentlemen, always have. But when I'm with a man, it's because I like him, not because I want him to like me." Okay. Again, for anybody to question their motives of why they're with someone. You know, I've definitely been with guys because I wanted them to like me. And actually, them being attracted to me proved that I was attractive. That I was worth liking. That I was worth fawning over. That I was worth touching. That I was worth asking out. That I was worth being seen with in public. I'm only going back now and looking at some relationships I had when I was like in my 20s and starting to think, that was like an undercover relationship. Me and that person were never seen in public together. In a circle of friends, they never acknowledged me as like their partner. And I'm like, it's fucking with me now, thinking like, were they ashamed of me? Like, were they embarrassed of me? Did they not want to be seen with me for some reason? Like, they wouldn't tell their friends we were together. And I just wanted them to like me so bad that I just sucked it up, and I was like, yeah, well, you know, I had one ex who had single on his profile on MySpace, and I asked why, and he said, "Well, I don't want it to stop people from trying to get to know me as a friend." And I accepted that because I was so desperate and so lonely and so willing to justify his bullshit because it was satisfying my bullshit. You know, we're not all identical people. We all have different needs and different wants and different ways we go about getting them met, but mine were shitty. And some of hers, I think, maybe in hindsight, will be shitty too. Again, is she a free, liberated spirit, having her fun, doing her own thing, and people are trying to hold her down and constrict her, which is not good? Or are people concerned for her and want to reach out and say, some of the choices you're making may not be healthy for you, or you may regret them later, and they're concerned, and she's perceiving the concern as, you know, nitpicking and self-control, and telling those people who may be concerned, fuck off, get out of my life. And it sounds like some of them are long-term folks that she knew, long-term subscribers, because watching these lives, I know the names of her regulars now. So, I don't know. And another thing, I mentioned this before. Being intoxicated in a man's house who you've never met, who has drugs around, who is very pushy. I don't care if he's 110 pounds soaking wet and if she's 350. Anybody can be the victim of sexual abuse. Anybody can be a victim. It doesn't matter. I've shared my own experiences with this in another video 1,000 years ago when the Me Too movement was out. And I was pretty sure something had happened to me. I won't go into it now. Something had happened to me, and I was pretty sure nobody would believe me because I was 6'1", 240, and the guy was 5'8", and 110, okay? So I didn't tell anybody because who the hell was going to believe me? And I would have been the perfect person to pick out because nobody would have. Plus, I was drunk at the time. No one believes anyone who's drunk. So he picked his spot pretty well. Chantal is a large person. The guy's very small. She went over there. She got intoxicated. If anything had happened where he did something to her, and he was trying to, he kept poking her with his junk all night, it sounds like, and she left in the morning. Perhaps still a little influenced by the substances she was taking? Could I understand why if she wanted to get out of there? Yeah. Does that make it okay, though? No. Go sleep in your car, sleep it off, and then drive home. Be safe. I don't know. I don't know. And then she said, she's like, I'm in so much pain. And then she's like talking about how it was the best sex ever. Pizza's like right freaking here. And they slept together for years, apparently. You know, they were together. She's like, oh, yeah. And then she made it a good point, though, to point out that Pete's is rather well endowed. Good for Pete's. You know? Good for Pete's. It's so typical. It is always guys like that that are... Ugh, never mind. Zoom zoom, she's talking to a weird kinky guy who likes BBWs and bought some really ugly green hooker shoes for her to wear. Zoom, I talk about men if I want to talk about men. Don't shame single women for their sexual behaviors. There is something to the idea that when men are, active, they're studs and women are sluts, like the old, that kind of whole feminist-y type thing. The Egyptian guy, she made him mad because she left in the middle of the night. Zoom zoom, someone named the Egyptian guy Coke Boy. Zoom didn't lose as much when she was eating her edibles. They made her a little more fat, for the weigh-in, so she thinks that that's why she probably didn't lose as much weight, because she was overeating when she was high. That'll do it. That'll do it. You can't speedball on Ozempic and gummy worms, and expect to have results. A tiny little bit of effort, the walks are great. A tiny little bit effort with the eating, plus the Ozempic, she could probably knock off an extra 10 pounds a month on top of what the Ozempic is doing for her. That's her call. She'll either do it or she won't. She's... My great-grandmother would say, do what you want, you will anyway. And that's pretty much all of us. We can all do whatever we want to do as long as we can live with the consequences. And if we can't, then we shouldn't do it, I guess. Easier said than done, I know. So, zoom, zoom. I just can't. I had to stop. Number 12. I have a boyfriend, and she hasn't eaten since the wrap she ordered at the end of yesterday's video. The story time she has is kind of clickbait. She talked to Dom, who is the Egyptian guy. We're calling him Dom now because he's very aggressive in the sack. In a way that he's persistent. She went to his place. He had a renovated bedroom there that he was renting to a woman. And Chantal goes over and there's this woman sitting in the kitchen who apparently has slept with Dom before a couple times. And there's like internal drama going on between... I don't want to hear you sleeping with her all night. You're a filthy this and that. Like, what the hell? And, like, she met him on a hookup site? I don't know. And she told the guy, I'll come over if you don't touch me. Good boundaries. And she's going to bring her TV, and they're going to watch some movies or something like that. So she's going to try to have it her way. This I approve of, and here's why. Okay, let me get on my woke, social justice warrior, feminist soapbox for a second. There are cultural differences all the time. And Chantal deals with them a lot because she seems to date outside of the United States and within other cultures where the roles of men and women are decidedly different than they are in some parts of the Western world, okay? Speaking very generally here. Why is it that when two people get together and the man comes from a tradition where misogyny tends to be the way to go, and people have to make accommodations based on culture, the woman has to make all the accommodations? Why does she have to be the one who all of a sudden has to be like more subservient and not make the other person angry and watch her P's and Q's and that? Why can't he just lighten the fuck up? Just saying. It was just a thought I had while I was watching this. So, anyway. She said she just wants affection, attention. She said he lost a whole lot of weight. So, she's like, I know this all sounds pathetic. I'm sorry. Oh, and then at the end of this, good riddance, Joe. Goodbye. Karate Joe was being too judgmental for her taste about her life decisions, and she said, goodbye. She had some snark for another regular, Victoria. Her name usually comes up a lot very early in the chat. She gets there soon. So, next, live Get Ready With Me. She's not going to see half the comments because she's getting ready with me. She's getting ready to go out. More Egyptian sex talk. Looking for a good time. She's going to fix up her bald patches, buy some champagne, and go. Story of my 20s. Story of my 20s. So the next day she has breakfast. And she's in the same outfit from last night. She slept at Egyptian guy's place again. She's getting McDonald's. She didn't sleep good, so she's going back to bed when she gets home. And she won't be able to go live later today, allegedly, because she's busy. So she shouldn't be live right now. She just left his place. He offered to make breakfast, and she dimed out and just left. She had an amazing night, learned so much about him. He is naturally hilarious. We talked for 6 hours. He did magic tricks. We didn't do anything, no drinking, no nothing. He ripped ass in bed, and I think her heart skipped a beat. He said he's never doing cocaine again, and he only did it one other time. I just pictured, because she had mentioned that there was talk about having multiple partners intimately also with this guy, and it came up, and he showed her a picture of some other guy's area, which was a foot long. And who keeps pictures of other guys? I don't even do that. I don't know, was showing her. So I'm thinking the idea that there's like, blow around and like other stuff and these guys with the masks. And I just picture this guy with like oils and leathers and 8 partners in one bed and stockings and long cigarettes and martinis. Like, it's all very tawdry. There's something about that whole scene that I don't really get. People do it. People love it. People do it safely. They have a great time doing it. People that are into polyamory do it. I don't get polyamory, but no one's asking me to get it, so what the hell? Whatever. And then after a whole night of talking, the lovemaking begins. Okay. So tonight she's probably going to watch a movie with him, stay Sunday at home and do house shit. Zoom, more boy crazy stuff. Crazy shit with Nicholas. It's kind of like that level of giddy, the crazy shit, like when she was with Nicholas, and she was all happy and everything. The fun part. 50 Shades of Chantal, people. So what is the lesson in all of this? Not be preachy. What's the takeaway? What are some things that we could take away? Well, Chantal reminded us all to be very cautious when driving if we are using recreational or any other kind of mood-altering substance. That whether she was or wasn't under the influence, it's always best to be very sure before we get behind the wheel of a car. And that reminded all of us. Check your motives. If someone just blows out with, all of a sudden they break out some blow and you're deciding like, oh yeah, sure, I'm in the mood. It's not like a casual thing, people. Like, when we have company over, like, you put out a bundt cake, maybe a cocktail, something like that. Even if he had edibles, something legal, even if he had the stuff that she had, or even if they just wanted to smoke the hash, I thought, well, that's different, but it's more in her wheelhouse. It's kind of like one of her adult drugs of choice. I wouldn't go back to doing ecstasy now, I don't think. Like, obviously I wouldn't, because I'd be dead within a week. Because I would not be happy with ecstasy. It's not the kind of high I want. The kind of high I want is the kind I get when I drink. So I'll do all this other stuff to try to get off. But eventually I'll go back to my first love, which would be that. And it wouldn't take me long to do. I'm also almost freaking 40. And I'm not... and I'm not going to accept cocaine from a stranger who I've never met. That's me. Personal safety. We should all be very safe when we go out. Yes. And... as I said, if we're going to meet any of us, you, me, you, we, all, if I'm going to meet a stranger a relative stranger I don't know very well and have only spoken to online, and I'm going to go over there and I'm going to plan to be intoxicated, and I know he's kind of pushy and it's a place I've never been, I am texting the address, not while I'm there, to Pete's. I'm texting it and writing it down before I leave. I'm giving him my phone number. I'm giving him Egyptian guy's phone number. They're both... Because the first person the police would call if I went missing, because safety is more important. And, check your priorities. Is doing any of these things getting in the way and creating... unmanageability is the big word they use in addiction. Is any of this behavior getting in the way of her normal daily activities? Is it taking away from time with her family? Is she losing money at her job, on her channel? Is it causing a rift between her and her friends, like with Pete's? It's causing a rift between some of her and her subs and some of her long-term supporters on the channel, because there's some hard feelings, at least initially there is. So it's creating a little bit of unmanageability there. That's up to her. How much is she willing to accept for it? We'll see. We'll see what she can take. I don't know. But I don't need to hear. People do. I'm saying me. Videos where she talks about how deliciously sore she is the day after, they're not for me. I'm a viewer as much as a reviewer, but that's not content for me. So I'm not saying don't make it. I'm just saying I'm not watching that. So that's all I have to say for now. I guess we'll see where it goes. Not a huge fan of casual drug use like that. I can't tell you why I feel like doing the edibles and the coke is different, but I just do. I feel like they lead very different directions for some reason. I feel like the consequences are very different. I feel like the community around these. I mean, cocaine's an illegal drug. There's a whole different subculture that goes with illegal drugs than there is that go with legal substances. It's a totally different place to get sucked into. So tread lightly, I hope, as anybody would. And don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. So thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the notification bell and the thumbs up on your way out so you get the alerts. You can follow Mark and I on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc, or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc, or on Twitter at SmokeySteveA. Our email address and contact information is all listed below as well. Thank you again, and we will catch up with you tomorrow. We are going live at 6 p.m. Eastern, so if you're free, feel free to stop by. It's usually pretty chill. It's usually a rather small chat, maybe 100 and so people. The mods are cool, and it's an open discussion. We hit the same few topics over and over, usually every week, but it's an open discussion. So hopefully we'll see you there. Thank you for watching. Bye.